Okay.
Everybody's in again.
I'm here.
Nice. You should care about yourself only.
Yeah. So that's why.
Yeah, but this is how it should be. If everybody can just guarantee himself, the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
I think we are missing one person because we're 16.
17.
17. Two people. You're missing Bangu. And just her, yeah.
So is everybody here?
Remember where we were at last time?
I think 17.
I think, yeah, it was 17. You're right.
Yeah.
Who are we missing?
We are missing Bangu.
Ah,
I have already counted my chickens. So yeah.
So I assume everybody is in or not yet. Is everybody in or not yet? So let's assume that everybody is in. Unless, okay, let's do that. So probably we will gonna go, or you're gonna go for an exercise now. And I think Brandon and Fernando had some ideas initially about how we can divide ourselves into group and tackle that problem. I don't know if one of them can speak up for that.
Fernando, I'll let you explain. I think it was coming from your brain.
Yeah, well, the only idea I had was to like create a exercise based on context, but I didn't really actually tell how to choose plates and groups.
Okay, but we have kind of an exercise for mind. So the exercise that I have in mind is that we should replace the switcher implementation around passing prop into using the context. So that's sort of, so augment, like just like sort of augmenting this experience and making it context fully instead of passing any prop. So we kill this change team here and change team here and stuff. I think that one thing we can you can do for an exercise. I think that's the only thing that I have in mind, honestly. Unless if somebody wants to add.
No, I think that makes sense. So, are you going to share the boilerplate that you have of the app up until the state example, and then the goal is to?
It is. It's in. I shared it in Code Sandbox. I uploaded the code into Code Sandbox. So people are free to use Code Sandbox or actually download it. Up to them, or just use it online. You can see here there is a. You can see in the I posted the link. Not now, before, and it's this link, and it will take you to this. And it's just like you are coding, but in your VS Code, but just online.
Jonas, so can you say again what's the change you want?
The change is we want to make this experience fully context, and what's left for us to clean is this change team. So we want to provide, so and this
Yes.
is used in switcher. So we want to make the switcher use context and consume the change theme from the context instead of passing it.
I get it. Yeah.
That's
So does everyone understand that?
Yeah.
any more? I'm thinking about making it because I think this is too short for a 20-minute exercise. I think I'm just trying to wrap my head and add more things. If somebody can suggest another thing we can add.
Yeah, that's a good question. We could add a third theme. I think, honestly, upgrading the app so it uses only context and we get rid of the change theme function and pass that through context, I think that's going to give us enough to work with for a while. I'm certain.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that, but if you confirm it, I think it's a good idea. So let's do that then.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And should we organize ourselves into groups, or how we should do it?
Yeah. So what I think would work best is if I wish there was breakout rooms in this, like we have in Zoom. Is it possible to do breakout rooms in this, or is it not that sophisticated? It doesn't look to be that case. Because what?
Just a second. I can maybe transfer some
ownership
rights to you. I don't know if that's possible. No. Unlock meeting. What does unlock meeting mean?
Probably anyone could just join freely now, so you don't have to keep.
Wait, that's pretty stupid. So let's do that. But change to role presenter.
All right, I am the presenter. Just let me do anything more. Because what we can do instead, which is slightly more manual, but I think that works, is we can break. We'll split into groups of 3, and then there's one mentor for each group, and then students can work on the exercises themselves. But then at least we'll all be in a group together, so that we can all ask questions and everyone can kind of spitball together. And then maybe we can give ourselves. Is 30 minutes enough? Do you think?
Yeah, I think 30 minutes, 25-ish, something like that.
Yeah. So we could just start a group chat for that. So how many people are we? 16 minus 3, 13. So I guess there'll be one uneven group. So 4 per group-ish.
Yeah.
Cool. What I will do is I'm going to go in Slack right now, and I'm going to start group chats and just randomly divide everyone. I think it's just going to end up being in alphabetical order. So hopefully you like people with the same letter name as you.
Yes, I guess I'll create another chat.
Yeah, so should you, I'll add the first 4 people to a chat, and then maybe Fernando, you can do the middle 4 people, and then Eunice, if you want to do the last 4 people, and just start a private chat, and then we'll throw up a Slack.
I don't see it ordered alphabetically, so.
Oh, maybe the first person I see is myself, which is probably not good.
And Amr is second, and Fernando is third.
Yeah, so for me, it goes Amr, Fernando, Gofrain, Hussein.
So we are seeing the same order. So
okay, perfect.
So you will take the first 4. Fernando will take the
next 4, and then you'll take the remaining.
Okay, cool.
So just to double check, for me it would be Kriti, Lucha, Galenia, and Masume.
I think it'll be John, Kriti, Lucha, Magdalenka.
Okay, all right.
Cool. So I guess all the students, everyone can leave here, and then we're going to start up Slack private chats, and then throw up a Slack room in there, and we can all work on the exercise. So we'll see you guys in a minute.
See you.
Eunice, I'm sorry, but can you please explain the question again? What do we supposed to do?
Just a second. So we will say Thiago.
just stay here, no, for your group.
Should we just stay here? If Fernando and his team are leaving, we can just stay here. It depends if they want to leave or not.
No, yeah, I'll create another chat. You can stay.
So if you can just mute your mic, I think we are staying here. Yeah. So. Yeah. So you said you didn't need me to re-explain the question. Yes. So what I said is that now we got rid of most of the props except this change team prop. It's still used, still in Sky used, and it's still used in Switcher. The idea is to get rid of it the same way we got rid of the theme. So we use context to share the same way we are sharing theme with the context. We share change theme with the context. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure.
What I don't. Are you, what you are not sure about?
How we need, how we remove theme, and so now what we need to remove from here?
It's not removing theme. You remember we had theme before?
Yes.
We replaced it and used the context to share the theme instead of passing it as a prop.
Yes.
We want to do the same thing with change theme.
Okay.
That's the gist of it.
Okay.
Are the other people working on it?
Yeah, Yunus.
Cool. Just
So can we use the same context.js for this too? So it can be a same file, right?
it's the same context. Hint, we want to make this an object and we pass two values at the same time. That's my hint. So we will not create any new context or anything.
Oh, okay. So okay, so when we use react.create context, it is going to create us context with provider and consumer, right? Already two objects.
Yes.
Okay.
Component.
So two components?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because provider is a component. You
Okay.
see, we are rendering it here. It's a component. So it has one component called provider and one component called consumer. We didn't use the consumer part because we just used use context here. But usually it's two, consumer provider. But we are only using the provider now.
Okay, so in the context.js, when we set const theme context is equal to react.create context,
Yeah.
so it means now my theme context is the context, which has two components, a provider and consumer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So one object that has two components. Yes.
Okay, so how do I add a new object inside my theme context? It has already two components, right? So I need to add something inside a provider, a new object inside a provider.
No, in the provider, yes. Means it's here. The same way you are passing string, you can pass an array, you can pass an object, you can pass Boolean, whatever you want.
But I don't get where is it passed? Can you show me in your screen?
Oh,
you're not
damn
sharing
it.
your
It's
screen.
like I thought I was sharing my screen and my word. Why is it not letting me?
I was thinking, am I dumb or why am I not understanding anything? Anyways.
I'm expecting you to visualize my screen. So you can see it here. We are passing string here. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
We can pass anything else we want. We don't need to pass a string. We can pass an array, a Boolean, an object, whatever. This is the value that people will read when they say use context, like here. Yeah. When they say use context, the variable or the value that they will get is the same to what you passed here.
Okay, so when I do it like context provider value equal to whatever, so it will automatically add a new object inside the provider.
Yeah, it is adding. You don't think in terms of object. A provider holds a value. Provider holds a value. This value can be an object, an array, string.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't matter, but it holds something, yes. And that thing can be accessed from the children component.
Okay, so whenever I use this provider component and I try to add value, so the multiple values will get added to the provider automatically.
Yeah. If I would say 1, 2 here, theme will be an array with 1, 2. I will pass here an object with the name something. Theme will be an object with name something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's really up to you what do you want to pass, honestly.
So I'm just trying to think out loud, Yunus, because I'm just trying to get a hang of it.
Hey, it's fine.
Yeah. So what we have to do, the first step is we have to wrap our button tag around this content inside this context provider and give it a value, right?
Yeah, not wrap it, but use the use context.
Okay.
And but first thing, you need to provide the value. So the value that you want to access, you want to provide using the value.
Okay. So I can just give it here.
Yeah, like should I, if it just press day or night inside of the context value?
Yeah. What is this? I don't understand. Can you repeat the question? Like formalize the question.
Yeah, just if I attribute day or night to that to the value of the context provider.
Yeah.
You change between day and night. Now we need to do it through.
No, we have this method or this function, and we want to share it using the context instead of passing it.
Yeah.
That's what we are trying to sort of.
No, my question is, how do how do I pass another value, because there is already a value, right? This .state.theme passed to the context provider.
Yeah, but I told you that the provider value can be anything you want.
True. So how do it should be like, should I give it after a comma, or I should put a new? Can I have more than one context provider tags inside the?
No, you can only have one context provider.
Okay.
One component, of course. You can have it multiple, but in this component you can have one. But I told you, you can pass an array, 1, 2. You can pass an object. hello, name, test, one. Like it's you can pass whatever you want.
Hmm.
So you're not limited to passing this.
Yeah. Okay.
We make this 366. Will take 1 hour to transition. That would be super funny. It will start transitioning super slow. If we say not 360.
I just feel like I'm completely not doing anything. I'm lost. So is it only me?
But-
I don't know what I should do next.
Think about the
I need to make like a function to switch inside of the value.
No, we
Switch-
already have a function. We already have a function. It's here.
Yeah. So can I give it? Can I make the value as an array, and the first value of the array will be
Why
this
not an
person?
object? Why not an object?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because once you replace this with an object that holds two values, the theme and the change theme function
Yes.
in one, you can easily access it from anywhere you want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So why did you decide on an object and not as an array?
Because array is for holding similar values, like an array of users, array of so
Ah, yeah. Okay. Yeah,
an
yeah,
object, and it's like that's not the purpose of an array.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. True. Yeah. So my value object is going to have the first property is theme, which is the value is this dot state dot theme, and the second is change theme, and it is the value is going to be the function, right?
Precisely.
Okay. So because of this, so I don't have to pass this change theme as a prop to Sky.
No,
It is left
exactly.
inside the context.
Exactly. And you don't need to pass it from Sky to switcher again.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because it's being passed from app to Sky and Sky switcher.
Yeah. Okay.
You will kill all of these. Switcher can just say, give me this value immediately.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. So. Mm. Okay, so now since the context provider value is an object,
Yeah,
so now I have to change how I have accessed inside Sky, right?
precisely.
Mm. In context. So now how do I access the first value of the object in use context?
The way you should think about it is that when you put an array or an object here,
Mm-hmm.
this will be an array or an object. So let's say here I have, if I have here, first is Eunice, I can go here and say theme dot first.
Can you please zoom in? Yes.
So if I pass first Eunice here, it
Mm-hmm.
means this will return an object, and I can say theme dot first because
Yeah.
it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really enjoying seeing it like moving slowly. It's like it's really like
I feel like I'm asking all the dumb questions now. How to access an object and how do I put it here? How do I put
yeah,
it
but
here?
it makes sense because it's complexity. The complexity breaks your mind. Even the simple things, when you put them in a complex manner, they start to.
Mm. Okay. Okay, so now my index is just going to have div and just the Sky component without any what is it, props.
Yeah, they will not take any props.
Yes. So okay. So the next is Sky, and okay. So inside the Sky now I have to change wherever I've used theme to the access it with objects like theme dot the object name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the return inside my sky, which has a switcher component, also is not going to have any props because it's given in the context, right?
Yeah, that is the purpose to
Yeah, true.
remove this prop chaining,
Yeah.
prop drilling, they call it.
Okay. And I'll go to switcher and okay. Okay, so inside my sky component, I have used react.use context, right? To use the context that I have
Yes.
declared or whatever written.
Yeah.
So I have to do it also in my switcher.
Yeah, anywhere you want a value from a context, you do that.
Okay. Can it have the same variable name? Like for example, in sky, if it is theme, can I have the same name inside my switcher?
Well, it's a function. This is nothing have to do with React. You can have, if you have function A and it has a variable inside it called A, function B can also have a variable inside it called
Yes, true. Yeah, true.
nothing to do with React.
Sorry.
No, it is really fine. It is fine. I'm just.
Okay. So now my switcher is going to be there is not going to be anything as props. So the function is going to be it is not going to have any arguments, any parameters.
The function never had any arguments. If you see here,
In switcher? Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
never had that.
No, I mean sorry, the switcher component
Yeah.
where we have written. So we have props inside the function. So we don't need that.
You can keep props there, like up to you. Remove it or keep it there. That's really up to you.
Yeah, but we are not going to use it, right? Because we have the context.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we could take a value from context and a prop. We could take two different things. One from prop.
Yes, true. Oh, okay, yeah.
It's not that everything should be context or everything should be prop.
Yeah. Okay, so here when I do the button on click, so my I should replace this with the second object value of the context.
Yeah. There is no first and second value in an object. An
Oh,
object
sorry.
has
Yeah,
keys.
true. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So the key that you named as a
Key,
function,
yes.
use that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I think I did it, but it shows syntax error. Okay, maybe I'll just see what I did. Okay. It shows error with my object construction. Okay, I can maybe copy this and put it in the chat.
Yeah. Can't you share your screen?
Oh yeah, I can.
Just a second. Just a second.
No, I don't think I can.
You can do it now.
Okay. I have the video. What is this called?
There is like
Oh,
a row up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are having a problem when creating an object. Like you cannot do that. Like remember, in JSX, if you have, for example, look how we are passing here. In JSX, if you want to pass something, you say, for example, key
Mm-hmm.
equal. Yeah. Let me just take back the screen
Yeah,
recording.
yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah.
I'll just share again. You can see mine now, I guess.
Yes, yes.
So if you have key equals something, you can do it like this, like if it's string, but usually we do it this way. For. So if you want to pass an object, these are not the object curly braces. You need to provide your own object curly braces.
Okay.
You get the idea? These two first ones are not related to an object. These are like begin end of an expression.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. True.
That's why you need to wrap your object in second pair of curly braces.
Okay. Mm. Team context. Yunus, can I share my screen? I think I'm having some problem.
Yeah,
Can you give me some control?
I think you have the control, no?
Yeah. Okay. 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 Yeah. So I'm fine. I'm getting this error.
First just read the error. What's the error?
Can't find variable theme context.
What does that mean?
So that means it is not able to identify this variable. Or okay, I have not tried to import this one somewhere. Okay, I'll just see. Okay, inside switch. Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, just read the error message.
The moment I get an error, I panic. That's why my mind stops.
You will have way more errors than actually successful tries. So you need to really train your mind to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Work, yeah.
that's it. Okay, yeah. Cool.
Nice.
How do I stop sharing?
Is everybody done? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I am done.
What about the
for the
others?
rest, yeah.
Yes, still trying to wrap my mind around it, but it's good.
Okay.
But I wish we could all do it together. So that we could see. Yes, please.
What do you mean all do it together?
You do it and we will work.
Yeah, at the end of every exercise, we do that.
Yeah.
So we do that at the end of it. It's not something new. So we will do that, but
Yunus, meantime, I have a question.
yeah.
For example, when we see a problem, we can take maybe in our case the to-do list that we did, or maybe this week's homework that we are going to do. So whenever we see a problem like that, just by a very superficial level, by looking at the problem, can we kind of guess if we are going to use context to solve this?
Yes, if you have a problem that you
Hmm.
need to pass a prop and pass it again and pass it again and pass it again, that's what context solves for you.
Yeah, yeah.
That is like the context doesn't do anything magical. It doesn't help you with your state or something. You need to have state and you need to have functions to change the state and things. Context only helps you carry these things to specific components. So instead of you passing the prop, as we said, if you have a prop here, if you have a component that passes something, that passes something, that passes something, that passes something,
Mm.
like after 18 or 17, imagine that you need to pass it all the way. User. Like, so context helps you with this. One component can put a provider, and one component here down can use a consumer.
Mm. Yeah. Okay.
I think people should be coming right now.
So we'll wait for all the other members to come and then we'll solve it together.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, people are coming.
Hello.
Hey. We are missing 2, I think. Or 3 if it was 17. So are we all here?
I mentioned that I'm here. So
That's good. You should only know about that.
yeah, I always the selfish ones. I just
Oh,
care about myself.
that's not selfish. If everybody was selfish enough to ensure that he's doing his things, I think that's not selfish. It's responsibility.
Okay, I take the credit
Yes, just take it.
and enjoy it.
Do you have children?
And I have no plan for that. Actually,
Okay.
first time that my husband and I went for a date, I told him that you know me, and I don't know where this relationship will go. But if you have a plan for child, just drink your coffee and leave. And he told me, no, okay, I'm okay with that idea. So
I also share similar views, so I don't think it's a good thing. I think
yeah, I think that the world has enough. So
yeah, exactly.
I respect.
Cats are really nice.
Hello?
I respect all the people that have planned for child, but I'm not the one.
Yeah.
But Masuma, that doesn't apply to your code, right? You have to have children in your code. Think about this.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. So then we agree.
Yeah.
So I assume everybody's here. I will share my screen once again, and I can go here and start recording. So what the initial thought was that we want to replace the other prop, this one, change team, with passing it using the context. Because as I was saying before, we have all, like, context doesn't replace your logic. You still have your logic, you still have your state, you still have your methods that changes the state and everything. Context changes the way you sort of move things around. Instead of you moving that piece of the state or value manually by passing it as a prop, context just liberate you from that by just providing it, and any child can get it. So we want to pass change team as context too. And if you go to switcher, what I want is a way to be able to do this. Context, okay, I would say change theme equal react.use context. And I will say theme context like this. And I want to be able to do this somehow and not rely on props here. And if I go to Sky, I also delete it from here. I don't need to do it here. And the key to be able to do that, so you can see here that we are using the same, and yeah, we also delete this one. The key to it is that here we are using the theme context. So we are expecting that the theme context will return a function. So I want to share the theme and the change theme both together. I want to put them together in one value. Usually you can go with an array, with an object, something like that. Let's put it as an object. So here what we can say is const context value. And we can put an object and say theme is dot state the theme and change theme to be this dot change theme. And here we can say context dot value. Does this change make sense here? That we made this into an object and we passed it here?
Yeah.
Cool. We need to update Sky because theme now doesn't return string. Theme now returns an object. You can see here, it's an object and it has theme inside it. So it's really up to you. You can do this and say const, for example, you can say context value or something, context, and say theme equal context dot value theme, sorry. You can do something like that. But we can also use this structuring if you remember. So we can say it's an object and we want to take theme from the object. Does this make sense? That we have an object and it has theme inside it and we want to take that.
Yeah.
Nice. And because we have theme and change theme, we can go to switcher and do the same here. Destructor this change theme. I'll just make this now 6 seconds and this is 6 seconds. I was just playing with it. And now if we try, yeah, I just added this bit of transition just to sort of make it time. But it works. And the transition is because I'm adding this one, this background. There's nothing related to JavaScript, so you don't get confused. Just the transition CSS one. Is this clear?
Yeah.
For everyone?
Just a second. Why we still passing to Sky in line 28? Why we still passing the change theme?
Nope, we don't need that. You are absolutely right.
Okay.
That's not needed. It was deleted from here anyways, so we don't need it. the awesome thing is that this switcher now, or this sky, we can move it anywhere. We can create a new component and move sky into it, and we don't need to change anything. That's the awesome thing about context. So if I create here a function called test and say return div here, I can render test here and put sky here. And I don't need to change anything. No props changed, no anything. That is the awesome side about like the context API, is that it becomes super easy to change component and change the hierarchy of component and move them down together without actually thinking about props. Like before, when I changed sky to test, I need to go and update the props and stuff like that. Does this make sense? No questions? So I assume that everybody is fine with this change. Nice. And sure, no question, because I would assume that this topic would trigger so many. Nice. And as you can see here, it's an object and we can add so many things to it. It doesn't need to be theme. We can add, for example, like user or something, or we can also have multiple providers. We don't need to have one. So it is really flexible. You can use it in so many ways and shapes without really hurting yourself. Yes. So actually, one change I want to do, but I am sort of afraid of people confusing things. So let's say now we closed the topic about context, and I assume that you don't have any questions about it. So the topic is we are off topic now, and let's say I want to pass the switcher from outside of the sky. So it doesn't mean, it means here, instead of rendering switcher here, I want to say sky switcher like this, and import switcher here. But I don't see the switcher. But I want to be able to do that. I think we already explained this and what feature we can use to be able to do that. So Sky can display switcher inside it. Can somebody actually remember that? No?
Can you repeat the question, please?
The question is, we want to put switcher inside Sky this way, instead of hard coding it inside Sky, the component, but it doesn't show here. What's the process of making it sort of show inside Sky? And like which API of React we should use? That's the question.
Sorry, but I don't get it, and the rest seems silent. Can you get us a hint? Are you referring to something we worked before, Jonas?
Yes, I did.
No, okay.
I can give you another hint, and Brandon actually explained this before. That's my hint. I swear I'll not give any other hints. No, we actually talked about the children API before. And that it can be. So if we will try to do it together, this accepts children. And if we say children, now we have the button. Why is that? First, what does children refers to? Silence.
Children refers to the a component inside a component.
No, what does children refers to in this context? For Sky, specifically, not a general concept.
Oh yeah, it refers to switcher.
It refers to switch, and it refers to what we pass inside here. So if we pass a div here, or an H1,
Oh yeah.
hello, we have hello there. Why? Because we are passing something here, and we are saying the children that we will get from outside, put them here. If we will move it down, it will be entered. So this is a really nice way of being able to compose components. So using context API and using the children API, I think you can achieve like just crazy.
What did you do for the switch to appear here?
I passed something here, like normal HTML. I receive a prop called children. That's by default. Whatever you pass here, React will pass it to you as children.
Okay, yeah.
And I can render children here. So children here refers to whatever I put inside.
Okay, but my question is, why would I do this?
Yes, that's a really good thing. Imagine that you have another version of this, and you want to make it a drop down instead of switcher or something. You will be able. The thing is that you will be able to change what the component renders from outside. I think this is a super powerful concept. If, for example, let's say you have a list of items. Okay, just a list of items. Sometimes you want to render them as a grid, and sometimes you want to render them as a list. The logic is completely the same. The only different thing is that how the item gets rendered, and we can configure how the item gets rendered from outside. So from outside of Sky, we can dictate to Sky what to render.
Jonas, what if we have multiple childrens?
You can put 7 switches here, up to you. It's just HTML.
Yeah, but in sky.js, there would be only one children, right?
No, children is a plural. Child is singular, children is plural.
Okay.
So by default, it's an array of 4 items of 1 item.
Okay.
So the type of children is an array.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Because you can pass multiple, so you should act on it as an array. So probably you will see it as something like, yeah, what's the purpose of doing that? But I think it is really interesting that you are actually able to do that. Let's say also this component, we want to put something under it. Let's say I want to say it's by Yunus 2020, something like that.
But Yunus, didn't we do it similarly for our to-do list? We did it like this, right? We had our to-do list item inside our to-do list.
We didn't really. I don't think we used children as far as I know.
Yeah, we didn't use children. Yes, it's true. Okay.
So the thing here is that, so I can just go back and change this to, so I can say switcher, and I can say children here. And children now can be this div. So from outside, I could supply an additional thing to render.
Mm.
I think that's really a powerful concept that you should sort of stick it into your head.
Mm.
Not like a knife, but more more like an information.
Yeah, my friend is feeling a little bit stubborn. Can I ask you, first of all, you're recording this part of the class, right?
Yeah.
Very important, thanks. And then can you give us another example where we could use this, apart from the difference between rendering the list or a grid? Please.
Yes, we can.
Maybe can you give us with to-do list if it's possible? With the homework that we did already.
I think to-do list, like, it's super simple. Like there is no different behavior in to-do list except let's say you want to change the to-do item differently. If a to-do item is based on if it's past the deadline or not, you want to show different things.
Mm.
You can supply this from outside. But I think, for example, Facebook is a really good. Facebook is a really good. How it's called? A really good example. So taking this, for example. Okay, taking this. Sometimes they run. So it's the same post with the same structure. The same, like everything is the same. But if it's a picture, we display a large picture. If it's a video, we display a small video and things under it. We have the same component called post, but from outside we can configure how it's rendered.
So this difference is made using the children.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because if you think about, well, you can also create 3 different type of posts. You don't need to use children. You can create one post for this, one post for video, one post for an ad like this. Okay, you can duplicate that, create 3 different posts. But I think that's kind of a bad way, because now you need to sort of rebuild everything. Rebuild this configuration, rebuild the comment. But instead, what they do, they have one component, and that component, it can be parameterized. So they have one. Let's sort of take it into code. They have a post component. So let's say function post. So say function post. And it will return like this. It will return div. It will say div here, and it says how it's called. It says, so we need the author. So we have an author component. Damn it. I think I can just remove the comment. So we have an author component, and next to it we have options. So we can say options. And under that we have content. And under it we have comments. And before that, we have reactions. Does this make sense? So we have one post component that take all of these. Everything is the same. The only different thing is, do we show a picture? Do we show a video? and the picture should take full size, video should take small size. Do we show an ad? And an ad doesn't have these things. So the way we do that is from outside we say children, and we say children. And if we want to display a video, we say post. We say post. And here we say video. Damn it. Or we can say post, and we say ads, or I don't know how this is called. This ads. Does this make sense?
We still could pass it as a prop, right?
What?
You could still do this through props.
But children are a prop. Children are a prop. It's just that React names them for you. Children as a prop. You can think about it as you are doing this. Children equal this. You know what I mean? It's the same. It's just that this is more natural HTML, but it's the same.
And what if the children is changing? Sorry, Lucia, go ahead.
No, go.
I asked a lot of questions today. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go.
What if the parent component change the children? Will that be changing the kind of this sub component?
Yeah. If
this kind of pass like a state or like a props that will update?
There's no passing like state. Everything you pass is a prop. There's no passing like state.
Okay.
It doesn't exist in the React world. State is not something you could eventually pass, but any communication between one component and another is a prop.
Okay. Thank you.
So in this, for example, in this sky, we will go in this example. If I change this, it will change in the component inside. So yeah, you can change this from outside and it will change. So if they will change, if you will change the video to an ad, this will re-render and show an ad instead of a video here.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
So when I got a question.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about using children when I want to establish like some sort of conditional for the rendering. That's when I'm going to be using children. When I got more or less the same, but I want to like be more specific, like have conditions for what I'm rendering.
Yeah, I would say it's not conditions, but it's more like generalizing a rendering. So we make it sort of more general. Like I have some things that they are the same, but one place it's general. It can so many things can fit there, and I can use a conditional or something from outside to change that. Yes.
And I am doing this because
think of it less like conditionals and more like reusability. You would use children when you want to get more reusability out of a component when you can.
So children is for reusability, and I'm doing this because for changing the props, I need to change it from outside, right? I can't change the props from the inside. I always need to do it outside. So by this, I'm following that. It's that why I'm doing this?
I don't understand. You are saying why I'm doing this. You are doing this to be able to host. It's like you have a jar or something, and instead of having a jar hard-coded to fit only one thing, that jar could like fit so many things. So this post now is like a general thing that can fit so many sizes and shapes. And from outside, I can put whatever shape I want.
Can we just call it customizing rather than making conditions? Because I would agree. I mean,
it is
I don't really see it like condition. It's more like customizing. We want to render something which has the same like components, the same parts in it, but in a different way, maybe in different order, right? So it's like customizable rather than like making condition. That's
exactly
what I would call it.
A condition could be used to customize, But
Yeah.
the idea is that, yeah, we are trying to make it customizable. And what Brandon said, it's more of reusability. We customize while reusing. We don't duplicate this and say, okay, I want a video post, and I make a video here. And I want a picture post, and I make a picture post here, and I make picture here. Instead, I only have one component, and I can reuse it and change it from outside. So I can customize it from outside, as you said.
Perfect, thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you.
There's so many like it's this. There's no one rule on how to use it, but this is more of like just trying to show you how I would use it or how one of the mentor could use it. But yeah, that's the thing. And actually, you can see the. Yeah, you can see here also like Facebook, they have components here like React components, but they have so many. It's like a lot. But you could, for example, take this post. They just name it A for hiding the name, and they can say feed story, header section, comment, it's like so many things. But they also use context providers, as you can see here. So it's not a super strange idea. So yeah, that's what I wanted to sort of make sure that you are actually understand before anything else, because I think it's a pretty important topic. Another topic I wanted to scratch on, but not really fully covering it, which is Redux. Let me just do this. I will just go to the webpage of Redux. Yeah. So if you see a pattern here, or what you have been doing, I think what you have been doing is way more complex, especially with the to-do list. That you have the to-do list, and then you need to add to it and delete to it. That's what every app does. If you write a comment on Facebook, they have a list of comments. They add one to it. If you delete a comment, they will delete. So you can think about a to-do list the same thing as a comment, or the same thing as a message. You just send a new message, you append it. So whenever you have a complex sort of state to keep around, because this is a super simple application. In a real application, there will be like so many things, like crazy, so many things. I don't know if Twitter can show us the Redux store. Not sure. Yeah, they can. So you can see here, for example, like Twitter, like they have so many things in their state, like so many. Don't think about it. Don't think, oh, why he's accessing state of. Just trying to show you that it's quite complex. And like there's so many things inside the state. So managing the state when it becomes large, if you think about Twitter or Facebook, they have like messages, users, comments, event, participation, so many things. Not just like a list to do items. This is a field itself, and it's called like state management, how to manage your state in a predictable way. And there have been a lot of effort, and there is so many options to use in the React ecosystem. On not just the React ecosystem, I would say it's like mostly the whole front-end ecosystem on how to do state management. So what you are finding difficult about updating and deleting state, it's a whole field in the front-end applications. And so many people, they have difficulties with this. As you remember, we scratched state. As you can see here, we talked about state, and also we did it for the to-do list. We also progressed a bit, and we did context. Context can help us manage the state. So we don't need to spread it and pass it everywhere. We can just provide it, and other components can access it, instead of using just the raw state. And if you only use the raw state, you need to pass it one by one, which is pretty difficult. There is some, and all these solutions, they are provided by React. But outside of the React library, there is so many other options. One of them is Redux. Another one is MobX. These are one of the main two raw state management libraries that they are used. And they are not provided by React. It means you need to import them in a separate way. It's like import Redux from Redux. And you need to install them first, npm install Redux, because they are external dependencies from npm. But there is a lot of hype around it, and there is so many things. And but what these things serves you, if you hear about Redux or MobX, they are a way to manage state. So instead of keeping state here, for example, Redux will give you store. So you will have store equal theme and to-dos and users. It's an array. To-dos is an array. And you can say create store. And after that, you will be able to say in your component store.theme. I'm trying to simplify it. There's some wrong stuff here, but I'm just trying to simplify it. You can say theme.store the theme or store.user. You can also say store change, and you do that with something called dispatch in the React ecosystem, but it's basically changing. Makes you or helps you manage your state in a different way compared to using only state and thing. I would advise you to look at it. They have really good documentation. You can say get started, and they give you step-by-step, npm install, yarn add. And they also give you some boilerplates. So you can just try it on Code Sandbox, or you can actually download the boilerplate, which is really code that you can run immediately. They have this Redux toolkit. MobX is the same. They have the getting started. You can say installation. You can install this. And they have introduction here, and they explain everything with the code and stuff. So these are one of the most famous two libraries that manages state. I don't know if you have anything to... I'm not sure if you have any questions. I don't know even if you have questions, actually, because I didn't go into a lot of details about it. But did you get what I was trying to explain about like state management and the field of it and stuff like that?
I think when it comes to React, at the end of the day, if it seems like there's a ton of stuff that's it's almost too many things to manage state, it's because that's ultimately what React's there for at the end of the day. Because if you were to do all this like fancy stuff in just vanilla JavaScript, the amount of code you'd have to write would be exponentially greater. And I think we're given in 2020, we're given a lot of really modern tools. And I know when I started learning, I couldn't really appreciate the value of this stuff because I didn't have to build it using only JavaScript or older versions of JavaScript. But at the end of the day, the main problem that React is solving is managing the state of our apps easier and making it fast. So that's why there's so many libraries and stuff that exist around React to help us with that, in addition to so many different ways that we can manage it within React, using state directly, how we pass props, using context. There's a lot to take in, and I'd be very surprised if everyone was sitting here right now thinking, yep, I got it. I completely understand it, because it's going to be a while before all the pieces click in place, and that's totally okay.
Definitely true. But we just wanted to show you like a bit of introduction about like what state management means and what options are there for state management. But it's really completely up to you and probably the company that you work for to decide on which thing to use. There's no right or wrong, I would say. Any questions about that? Cool. I think we don't have anything else to cover as far as I know. If somebody doesn't agree, say it. But I think we are probably done for today.
Yeah, I'll share the homework link in class, although I'm sure you could find it without it anyway, but I'll do that. And then I also made note that based on the questions at the beginning of the class, it seems like the two main things that it seems like we're stuck on are the lifecycle methods, of course, data flow between components. I think the suggestion earlier of using free code campus practice is ideal, and I'll share a link to that as well. And then I'll see if I can find some extra material around context that might help in terms of shedding some more light on the areas that might still be confusing for everyone. So you can look forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, have a lovely Sunday evening, everyone.
Guys.
You too. Thank you very much for today.
Take care and stay safe. Bye.
Thank you for today, guys.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Yunus. Thank you, Braden.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, friends.